Yo, yo, yo. What's up, my peoples? What is going on? Happy Tuesday. Sorry we're a little bit late this morning. Dude, I've been just so tired the past couple of days. Moving slow. I slept a ton yesterday too, man. I think I just really needed it. I don't know. We're here. That's what matters. Sorry I'm a little bit late, but you know, it's gonna be a good day, dude. We're gonna do the news. Yeah, as we always do. News for today, August 15th, and then we'll dive into another day of Fallout New Vegas. Should be day 9. I think that's correct. Yes, day 9 of Fallout New Vegas. It'll be a good time. So let's go ahead and do what we do, man, and jump in here and find out what's going on in the world of video games, and have some fun with that. Cool. Let's go. Let's do it. Go ahead and kill the tunes. See what's going on in video gaming news world. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right. Wait. It's finally happening. Netflix begins streaming games to TVs and computers. What? Dude, I've been waiting for the computers part of this. Okay. We knew it was coming to TVs, but it needs to be across multiple platforms. TVs, computers, consoles, whatever. You know, the real Netflix of games, huh? All right, let's take a look at what The Verge has to say about this. I like The Verge. We'll take a look at that. Alrighty. $10 Steam games for only $5 at Fanatical. We might have covered this already. What games are they talking about here? Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, let's dive into that. Mm. The Saudi-backed Savvy Games was the mystery partner in the collapsed $2 billion Embracer deal that we had talked about. Okay. Let's pull that up. I remember this was a deal that had to do with Amazon as well, maybe. I can't remember all the details about this, but I'm sure we'll get them once we dive into that article, okay? Psycho, what up, broski? What's up, dude? What it do, brother? You be doing dino dancing, dude. I like that emote, dude. That emote's dope. I like that. Not a much. Just another beautiful day, my friend. Yeah, dude. It's good to see you, dude. PS Plus free games for next month are off to a rocky start. Okay. Master Chief coming to Rainbow Six. A leaker is claiming. We'll see. If that becomes official, we'll find out. Yeah, thanks, buddy. For sure. You're still got like days off, right? You've got like maybe still today and tomorrow off. Is that correct? Because you got like, dude, you worked your butt off there for like what, like 5 days or something? You get like 3 days off now or something, right? Yesterday was yesterday day 1. Is that correct? Or am I missing a day? How did your gaming go yesterday, by the way? Oh, today. Oh, okay. So you go back tomorrow? Word. You got plans for today? Ah, love that coffee, baby. Someone's beat Boulder's Gate 3 in 10 minutes. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. Word. Yeah, sorry I was off there on those days, dude. This is the way it goes. People, dude, there are some brilliant speedrunners out there. They are really good at finding ways to beat games fast like that. Oh, okay, word, word. I hope everything's okay, man. You don't need to divulge, but hope all's well. Yeah, I try to stay, you know, I try to do my best to stay up with what's going on with everybody, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard for me to keep it all straight. You got a lot to retain up there, dude, but I try, man. It's important to me. What's nice about this means we'll probably be able to play WrestleQuest maybe just through Netflix. Oh. Oh. Thanks, buddy. We'll have to see how that's rolling out, though. Everybody's talking about the Netflix stuff. This is what I've been saying, though. Netflix, and we'll talk more about it when we bring the article up, but Netflix is pushing so hard into gaming, and I think the way that their initial kind of dive into it was smart. But at this point, they need to be opening up their avenues to get people into playing the games outside of just accessing their like mobile app. They need to be giving people these avenues to get in there, whether it be a desktop application for PC or even just allowing people that have subscriptions to log into a website and play games through their website based application or something, um, through the TV, through smart TVs, through consoles with the application. You name it. That's where they're at now, and they've got to get that rolled out. I've been saying that for a few months now, that it feels like that's where they're at, and they've really got to get that done. And it looks like they're doing it, man, which is good, man. That's good. We talked about this yesterday. Indus Battle Royale. I'd never heard anything about it, and we pulled it up, and it was like a 3.5 minute long trailer of cinematics only. And then the company's talking about how the trailer was showcasing everything that people should be excited about. And it's like, bro, you didn't show any gameplay at all. So what is anybody supposed to be excited about whenever you're pushing out a beta test of this game and your trailer shows nobody anything about what the gameplay is? Kind of dumb. Dude, everybody's reporting on the Netflix stuff. Jesus. Davey, get your butt in here, dude. What's up, brother? Davey in the house. Good morning, man. What's up? Yeah. All right. Jeff Keeley says that this year's Gamescom opening night live, which we will watch a week from today, actually, um, is less about announcing new projects. That's okay. That's okay. Uh, oh, good, dude. Nice, Davey. Nice. Good to hear, dude. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, word. I'm glad you stuck with it, man. I'm glad you stuck with it. Yeah, cool. Um, it'll be probably more about, we'll pull this article up. It'll probably be more about more information about projects we already know are in development and less about trying to blow people away with new announcements. You know what I mean? And that's okay. That's okay. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anyways. Bethesda just published 300 years of Starfield history for all you lore nerds out there. We'll pull that up. Looks like we got an Xbox sale going on today through the 22nd. We'll pull that up, let everybody know what they can get their hands on there as far as Xbox sales. Let's look at our other search. Netflix, 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 Netflix. Netflix, Netflix, Netflix. Netflix, Netflix. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, Pokemon Home compatibility coming soon. All right. Ooh, Pokemon players disqualified from the World Championships for using hacked Pokemon. Good, get wrecked, you cheating buttholes, dude. Hate cheaters. Oh, yeah, bro. That was a cool spot, dude. Nice. Yeah, sick, dude. That's pretty cool. Right on. What's your main character? What did you build them as? What kind of classes and everything? I'll tell you this, dude. Pinky made an archer that was an absolute just melter. I was a witch, but Pinky was an archer that just slaughtered stuff. I liked being a witch. It was cool. It was a lot of. I had some decent damage stuff by the end of the game, but it was a lot of pretty good crowd control stuff, things of that nature. But bro, Pinky had some flipping skills that were just insane damage. Plus, he took glass cannon, so he was just constantly being able to push out high damage abilities and stuff. You were a rogue, yeah, yeah. We had a rogue in our team, the dude that couldn't talk. What's his name? He was in our team, so he played our rogue role for us. Yeah, he was good. Liked him. Can't remember his name. Sorry if that was spoilers, Davey. Oh crap, man, my bad. I gotta be careful. Sorry, Davey. Disregard. I didn't say anything. I didn't say crap. I'm so sorry. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 lets you slow down combat to 30% speed. Is this like an accessibility? It's accessibility option. That's cool. Nice, dude. Yeah, I didn't. I don't even know what you're talking about because I didn't say anything at all. Nope. Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Roderick's fighters. Scarlet's a healer. Cool. Yeah. Healer's important. Yeah. Yeah. I did. So I started off as a witch, but then I like put into healing spells and stuff later on too. So I was able to push out heals with my witch also, which was nice. But yeah, Wolgraf, dude. Wolgraf. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah. Wolgraf. Yeah. He's who we ran as well. And he's pretty good. I liked Wolgraf. And Medora as well. That's I'm pretty sure that's who we had also. Yeah. Isn't Medora the big like knight chick? Knight lady? Not like Lady of the Night, okay? That's not what I meant. A woman that is of the knighthood. Like Knight. Not a woman of the night. There is an archer. I'm pretty sure there is an archer companion party member you can get. Pretty sure. We, I thought, if I remember correctly, we got one early game, but we were like, we don't need her because we had Pinky. Pretty sure. Red Dead Redemption at $50. How gross, dude. Amazon Australia is now selling digital games. That's cool. Looks like Assassin's Creed Mirage is going to launch earlier than expected. That's always a bit scary. Anytime, I mean, it's great if it's ready. It's great if it's ready, right? It's always a bit scary too because we're always just anticipating games getting delayed because they need more time. So, whenever we see games get that like early release date, it's like, ooh, okay. And it's it's one of those things where I'm always anticipating the release to see if they should have released it earlier or not. you know, play through AC Valhalla. Yeah. How much time do you have in it? I mean, it's basically the game that never ends, though, right? So, like, I don't know how easily it is to play through. It seems like a very daunting experience, honestly. From the impression I get from people, I know that you can beat it, but it seems like a game that you have to put a lot of time into. It really does. We've already seen the PS5 Slim, but I mean, the PS5 Slim still looks like a flippin' chonker of a console. The PS5 must be just bigger than what I figured it was, Close to 50 in it already? Yeah. Word. Okay. That's a chunk of change, dude. Yeah, that's a chunk right there, anyways. A new Lego Harry Potter game is seemingly on the way. What? Interesting. Texas Chainsaw Massacre video games being called one of the scariest games ever made. Scaretober, maybe? Well, we already know that Bandai will be publishing Armored Core, right? So that's one for sure. We'll pull this up. What else do they have coming? Yeah, Davey might not wanted to have known that though. I don't know. I don't know. It might have been one of those situations where he would have rather have found it through gameplay or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. He might have already seen it. I don't know. That's just one of those things like we talk about. Just like for me while I'm playing, prompting like, "Do you want to know where to find it?" I know Davey probably would have looked it up himself if he really wanted to know or whatever. Because I think he's already started looking up some stuff about Divinity, but just to be careful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't figure it'd be a big deal, but you know, just to be considerate of that fact and not to just throw information out there if people are playing the game and might want to not be spoiled. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's back. Yeah. So if I remember correctly, it has something to do with like um isn't it like trying to help free her or something from one of the cages or something like that? I think it has something to do with that, if I remember correctly. Basically, she's been captured by them or something, and you're like, yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it had to do something with like her being captured, and you're like, oh well, I'll take her under my control or whatever. I'll make sure she stays out of trouble or whatever. And I think she's an yeah, that's the archer. I'm pretty sure. Am I remembering that correctly, Psycho? I think that's kind of how that went, but I could be misremembering too. Ugh. Yeah, I got to save her from the cage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. That's what I thought, dude. Yeah. Ah. All right. Well, we got these will be our articles for the day. Let's dive in here, guys. Let's see what we got. Um so the Saudi funded Savvy Games was the mystery partner in the collapsed $2 billion Embracer deal. Anytime Saudi Arabia comes up, I find it appropriate to address this situation first and foremost as what Saudi Arabia is and what they're doing in gaming. Um, so Saudi Arabia has been a big investor over the past few years in gaming as a whole. They own almost 10% of like Nintendo's shares at this point, which is a lot. They outright own SNK as a development company. And they have heavily invested in a lot of other major development companies and stuff like that. And it's all being invested in through this Saudi Arabia's investment fund. I can't remember exactly what they're calling it, but it's their government, it's their regime, it's the regime's investment fund. Uh, so I think what's important for people to understand about this situation is that Saudi Arabia is a country, and you can look it up for yourselves. It's not hard to find information on countries and the way that they, you know, treat civil liberties and how they address discrimination and civil rights and things of that nature. Saudi Arabia is not a good one. It's not a good country when it comes to those kinds of things, and they are well known for discrimination and prejudice and not allowing people to just live their best life, enjoy the freedoms that people should have in the world. And I think it's appropriate that people understand that in the world of entertainment, you start letting governments and regimes buy into this world that we constantly dive into, the potential for them to use it as a propaganda machine to push their views and their agenda into it, and to try and get other people, especially younger, more impressionable individuals, to think the same way, is something we have to be very, very careful of, you know? And so at the same time, whenever you know that these governments and you know, powers that be and regimes and things like that, they are investing in these companies like SNK. I have a clip from one of our news segments here recently where we talk about an SNK game that's coming out, and I think it's important for people to understand that if you buy SNK games nowadays, you are directly supporting Saudi Arabia's regime. That's where that money goes. That's what you're doing. And gaming's supposed to be about having fun, and I understand that, but you also need to have a clear understanding of what you are supporting behind that, right? I think that's important for people. So I can't tell you what to do with your money, but what I can do is help to educate people and help people understand that, like, for SNK, it's not just like a privately owned corporation, like, you know what I mean, that was just started from scratch in somebody's basement or something. That's not what it is nowadays. It is legitimately a company that provides funding to Saudi Arabia's government, to their regime. And so any kind of money, profit, revenue that they make, SNK makes, it goes to supporting Saudi Arabia's regime. And I think it's important that people understand that that's what's happening there. And I don't care if it would be Saudi Arabia or any other, you know, country that does that kind of thing to people, I would bring it up. You know what I mean? But this particular situation right here and what we're diving into makes it appropriate for me to try and educate people on what that process is. And ultimately, it's up to each individual person whether that should be something that weighs on your conscience in supporting an organization, an entity that governs other people and suppresses their freedoms and things like that. That you'll have to decide whether that weighs on your conscience or not. But the least I can do is educate people. So now, Saudi-funded Savvy Games was the mystery partner in the collapsed $2 billion Embracer deal. The previously unknown partner in a $2 billion video game mega deal that mysteriously and dramatically collapsed last spring was the Saudi government-funded Savvy Games group, Axios has learned. Why it matters. The fallout of the failed deal sent shares of the Embracer Group, Savvy's would-be partner and one of the most voracious acquirers of video game studios in the last several years, plummeting and forced it to cost-cutting mode. More broadly, the revelation may raise questions about how Saudi Arabia will proceed with its controversial ambitions to invest $38 billion in the video game industry. Axios learned of Savvy's involvement from 4 sources familiar with the deal who are not authorized to speak about it publicly, and after reviewing documentation related to the planned partnership. An Embracer spokesperson declined for comment for this story. A Savvy rep did not reply by press time. The $2 billion deal would have involved Savvy investing in the development and publishing of games from Embracer, helping establish the Sony company as a major gaming label. Embracer had been promising investors news of a lucrative, transformative partnership with several industry partners. since November of last year. But May of this year, Embracer Management announced the collapse of one of those massive partnerships while carefully avoiding naming the partner. In the May note, Embracer said the parties had reached a verbal commitment in October of last year that would have resulted in more than $2 billion in contracted development revenue over a period of 6 years. All documentation was finalized and ready to go as of yesterday. The company said, "We asked for the execution of the agreement before our Q4 announcement. However, late last night we received a negative outcome from the counterparty. While Axios' sources were clear about who the deal was with, they were less certain about why Savvy walked away." Yeah. So Savvy emerged in January of 2022 with news that Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, that's what this is, or public investment fund. You'll hear this be whenever Saudi Arabia invests in the gaming industry, you'll hear it more often than not as their public investment fund. And it won't be attached to Saudi Arabia. You'll just hear it be the public investment fund has invested in gaming, and they won't attach Saudi Arabia to it quite often. But it's their Saudi Arabia Sovereign Wealth Fund, or AKA often referred to as their public investment fund, was setting it up as an attempt to invest in gaming and diversify the kingdom's economy. It immediately announced the $1.5 billion purchase of 2 esports firms. Yeah, right here. Over the last 2 years, the PIF, Public Investment Fund from Saudi Arabia, has become one of the largest shareholders in several major gaming companies, including Nintendo, which I just talked about. They own almost 10% of Nintendo at this point, Take-Two Interactive, and EA. One second, and I'll finish this. Hold on. So while Savvy executives have told Axios and others that their operation, which has a board chaired by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, is a genuine effort to get into gaming and address the professional and leisure interests of the kingdom's youthful population, it's nonetheless been accused of being a distraction from the country's human rights record. They have a link here too, so you can look into this. Similar to criticism of so-called sports washing that's emerged from Saudi's backed efforts in boxing and golf. Just be aware, man. Just be aware that this is what's happening. In my opinion, it's not good. And I mean, you can tell that like they are getting ingrained in some of the bigger industries, bigger companies in the industry, and in the gaming industry, and it's hard to stay away from it. But specifically, you know, if you see these companies out there pushing out, publishing games, developing games like SNK, Savvy Games, stuff like that, those are outright Saudi Arabia owned companies. And you have to know what Saudi Arabia's regime is about and what they do and how they repress people. And the terrible things they've done to people in that country for trying to ensure that people aren't able to live their best lives, not able to be who they are naturally and freely, right? By discriminating and repressing and persecuting people. And if you see like Savvy Games, if you see SNK and you buy into those products, you're ultimately putting money back into helping that regime, unfortunately. You need to be at least educated on that fact. So sad. PlayStation Plus is losing some of its best games. Gather around PlayStation Plus subscribers. Another batch of games is due to leave the service next month. So if you're an extra or premium tier subscriber, you're going to want to see if any of these titles are worth checking out before it's too late. Before we dive in, allow me to recap what's been going on in the world of PlayStation Plus. This month, all subscribers can grab the Essential Tier offerings. PGA Tour 2K23, Dreams, and Death's Door. This is probably the more notable one for most people. The extra and premium tiers are receiving a collective 17 free games this month, including day one release, Moving Out 2, Destiny 2, The Witch Queen, Lost Judgment, and Midnight Fight Express. Moving Out 2 has been released to rave reviews, and let's not forget that we'll also gain Sea of Stars as a day one release on the 29th of August. That's a game I'm keen to get my hands on. It's all well and good finding out what's new, but let's dive into what will soon be departing PS Plus. Every month, a new batch of games gets added to the dreaded last chance to play category, and today it's been confirmed which titles will be leaving in September when the next batch of extra and premium games are added. You have just 1 month to play Deathloop, Chicory, A Colorful Tale, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, Watch Dogs, Watch Dogs 2, Nidhogg 2, Through the Darkest of Times, and Death End Request 2. Oh, nice, Davey. Have you tried the demo yet? Yeah, there are a lot of people that are hyped about Sea of Stars. Yeah, yep. I've been meaning to get around to playing Chicory for a good long while, so I guess I better hop on that ASAP. Deathloop and Watch Dogs are well worth checking out before they depart as well. If you hover over one of the departing games, it'll reveal that this lineup will be leaving PS Plus for good on 19 September. So just over a month from now. You have your final countdown, so get playing. All right? I'll link it just in case you need it. Yeah, there's a lot of people are pretty excited about Sea of Stars, man. Yeah. I hope it's good. Here we go. Jeff Keighley says this year's Gamescom opening night live is less about announcing new projects. All right. The live event will focus more on updates on some of the biggest games due out over the next year. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I know there are going to be people that are you're like, oh man, we're not going to get any new announcements or whatever. We got a lot of new announcements in June. That's where you expect most of your new gaming announcements to be popping off almost every year. And we had a lot. So it's okay. I think that it's okay for opening night live from Gamescom to just probably be a bit more full of some extended looks and more information about games we already know are in development. Okay? Personally. Oh, good, Davey. Nice, dude. Thanks. Awesome. Speaking of VGC, ahead of the August 22nd event, the host and producer said that viewers should expect mostly updates on announced games planned to be released over the next 12 months. Quote, it's going to be an exciting show with new looks at many announced upcoming games like Alan Wake 2, which, if it releases on time, we will be playing in Scaretober, and Black Myth Wukong. And Keighley said, this year's opening night live is less about announcing brand new projects, more about giving fans updates on some of the biggest games out over the next year. Opening Night Live is the Game Awards producers' regular pre-show presentation for the German Gamescom Expo, which last year took place in Cologne as an in-person event for the first time since 2019. Last year's show ran for just over 2 hours and featured more than 35 games. I would expect the show to be somewhere along that same time frame. Hour and a half, 2 hours long, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see. But we'll watch it here. We are going to watch it here a week from today. It'll be on Tuesday, the 22nd. And it pops off for us, my time, channel time, at 1 o'clock p.m., which is perfect. So basically what we'll do is we'll do the news that morning. We'll game all day that day. Actually, we'll probably be playing WrestleQuest that day. That's the day that WrestleQuest has been delayed to come out to now. So WrestleQuest was supposed to come out on the 8th for us. Then it got pushed back to the 22nd. So the 22nd, we'll do the news. We'll play WrestleQuest. And then at 1 o'clock p.m., probably just before that, probably about 12:30 p.m. my time, CST. That would be, 10:30 Pacific or 1:30 Eastern time. We'll take a break. We'll get some lunch together, and then we'll get ready for the show to pop off, which pops off at 1 o'clock p.m. CST for us. Okay, so we'll get a break in. We'll let everybody stretch their legs, get some refreshments, and we'll get ready for about 2 hours worth of just hanging out and checking out all the games that they're going to showcase at opening night live from Gamescom. Okay, so that's our plan. Pop off, baby. What's up, Cash? What's up, dude? Last year's show ran for just over 2 hours, featured more than 35 games. According to Keeley, Opening Night Live presents unique challenges compared to his other annual events, the Game Awards and Summer Game Fest. Not just due to its European location, but also due to ties to partners exhibiting at Gamescom itself. First, there are the logistical challenges for our LA-based team to produce a big-scale show in Cologne, Germany. Thankfully, Gamescom and Comus are great partners. The other challenge, but also opportunity, is that the show is directly tied to partners and games that will be exhibiting at Gamescom. We're always trying to find ways to create synergy between what's happening on the floor and inside Opening Night Live. Keeley said that despite being his only European event, he views Opening Night Live very much as a global showcase with projects from teams across the world. He's also not surprised the physical Gamescom event remains popular, even in the post-pandemic environment. Quote, the sense of community at Gamescom is so unique and powerful. There really is nothing like it in the world. Even before I was involved in Opening Night Live, I loved coming to Gamescom because it has such a focus on the players and community. Yeah. So, probably not a lot of new announcements, which I honestly, I wouldn't expect a whole lot of new announcements out of something like this so close to the June showcases anyways, but at least it's a kind of an official thing. Don't expect that. Don't expect that. Expect more information about games we already know are coming, right? When is this happening? A week from today. Next Tuesday, the 22nd. So we will, again, it'll be about 1 o'clock my time. That's when it pops off. 1 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock CST, 2 o'clock Eastern, and 11 o'clock Pacific time. That's when Opening Night Live is. Yeah, I've got another article that gives all the a lot of the time zones. So if you check this out, this one right here gives you a lot of the time zones. Right, you can see 11 a.m. Pacific. This is North America. 12 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, and then it gives UK, Ireland, Europe, Asia, Oceania, all the time zones there. So I'll link this for you guys. We've got people all over the world, man, part of this community. So there's your link for all the time zones. You know what I mean? But for us here, it'll be 1 p.m., which is perfect for our stream. Yeah. So the final 2 hours of the day for us, we'll just watch Opening Night Live. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, Davey. Yeah. Bethesda just published 300 years of Starfield history for lore nerds. I say lore nerds as affectionately as possible, for I am also a nerd of the loreness. I go head over heels for Bethesda's lore especially, and I'm self-declared as one of the most knowledgeable Fallout players in the business. Recently, Bethesda stepped up and published an extensive history of the events leading up to the setting of Starfield, detailing all major events across a near 300-year period. It is characteristic of all Bethesda RPGs. They're typically thick with lore, populated by detailed backstories and bursting at the seams with documents, books, holotapes, secrets, and all manner of items to uncover and collect. Starfield is no different. Given the expanse of the game itself, it makes complete sense there would be a rich backstory there to support it. The final frontier of Starfield. Following a promise that Starfield is going to release on time and the rumors surfacing that Bethesda is hosting an exclusive launch event for the game, fans are expectedly more excited than ever before. This has been several years in the making, and it has the potential to be the most fantastic game of all time. I'm biased here. I just adore Bethesda's lineup, always have. A lot of us feel like Bethesda has something to prove here, though. The past half decade to 7-8 years have been subpar, considering what we fell in love with Bethesda for, you know? And we want to see Bethesda right the ship, as it were, yeah? Perhaps it'll be a dumpster fire of a game. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, recently the Starfield website was updated with, I think that there's a better chance of it being good than being bad. But we never know until it releases, right? That's the lore. All right, cool. 300 years of lore put into 3 sentences in Twitch chat. Thanks, Cash. I respect it. Recently, the Starfield website was updated with a 300-year backstory to the game. It runs from 2050 to 2330, which is when Starfield begins. We learned that humans arrived on Mars in 2050, thanks Elon Muskie, you little musky rat, and they started living in space by 2100. They must discover FTL travel, although this isn't mentioned, and because just 56 years later, they're traveling to new star systems. I knew that was coming, dude. I knew that was coming, Cash. Colonies are founded, factions begin to spring up, and of course, in line with all human history, wars begin. By 2194, the universe is mobilizing in a galactic conflict that shakes the foundations of the race. From there, the history is mostly stating where, when, and why certain named characters join their respective factions, and then it all wraps up with a dark screen with 2330 AD emblazoned across it. That's where we come in. Starfield is coming to Xbox Series X, S, and PC on September 6th. Additional things to understand right now, okay? This game is taking roughly 122 gigabytes of space in your storage. So, make sure you're ready for that. It's large. Kappa. Space Kappa. So, 122 roughly gigs. It'll probably vary a little bit from platform to platform, but be ready. Be ready. Just go ahead and prepare for a little bit over that, okay? You can already pre-download. The game is already ready for pre-download, whether it be on PC or Xbox, okay? Make sure you got enough space, Kappa. Very nice, Cash. Yeah, dude. So God dang, dude. Oh, Jesus. It's going to take about 120 to probably 130 gigs. I would say just make sure you've got over 130 gigs available for this game, no matter what platform you're playing it on. It's already available for pre-download. At least that's what I have read. It's already available for pre-download. Also, if you're buying into the gimmick, which I don't advise for games nowadays quite often, unless it's a very, very tried and true developer that has shown you a good track record of constantly producing quality games. But you do you. If you bought into an edition that you can get into the game early, you'll be able to start playing on September 1st. Okay, so the game full releases officially on September 6th, but if you buy an edition that you can play early, it'll be September 1st play date for you, okay? That's what everybody needs to know. I'll link this in case you need some of the links out of this article. There you go. Deals, 500 plus games include in this. Wait, what? TB game install win. Wait, what? TB. Why am I not grasping that acronym, dude? Oh, terabyte game install. That's what you're talking about. A terabyte game install? Oh, Jesus, Doug. Jeez. Because we were talking about the space and everything. Um, I don't know. What do you think, dude? Yeah, I got it. Yeah. I think we're a little ways away. I think we're a little ways away. It'll be here though. Technically, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Um, I mean, what's the biggest game we've seen so far? I mean, what 180 to 200 gigs? I think is like about the biggest I've seen so far. I think it will be too. Yeah, I think it will be too. COD games are always huge, man. Yeah, they're massive. They're massive and they need a lot of space to fit in. That or Breath of the Wild 3. Well, I think that, here's the problem with that. I think that I think Nintendo has to if Nintendo's going to be hitting, I know you're kind of memeing a little bit, but if Link goes to other Hyrules, I don't think Link can fill that space, dude. I don't think he's packing enough data, if you know what I'm saying. Now Ganondorf probably packing enough data if they were to give make a Ganondorf game. Ganondorf probably packing enough data to fill that space, bro. Honestly, dude, I think that with what they're already doing with like on a real note, I could see Nintendo making the Legend of Zelda games incredibly huge. Incredibly huge if their hardware was good enough. I think that's the constraint for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's going to be the constraint because we're already seeing reports come out where they're talking about like even the Switch 2, the Switch I mean the Switch 2 quote unquote, right? Because nobody knows officially what it's going to be called yet. I mean that's what people you would assume that, right? People are assuming Switch 2 that would make sense. So we'll just go with that. We'll call it the Switch 2. But whatever Nintendo's next console is, they're already rumors swirling it's going to be a $400 price point, right? And honestly, dude, I'm a little bit concerned about that. I know why they do it. I know why they're doing it. You want to appeal to as much of a consumer base as possible, but we're still talking about mobile technology, and we're still talking about how it's not going to age as fast, or it's going to age faster, and it's not going to age as well as chunky, power hungry hardware, right? So it's going to be the same issue we run ourselves into, or they've run into with the Switch, right? Of it's not gonna age well. It'll age better than the Switch has because mobile technology has evolved since then. It'll age better, but it won't keep up with the times, and we'll just have to see how it goes. But I don't think you're wrong with Call of Duty call there. I think Call of Duty would probably be the first like game that hits that space threshold of needing like a terabyte. But we'll see what happens. Rumors are Super Nintendo Switch. What? Have you really heard that? I would love for them to call it that. I would love for them to call it that. Here's the other thing, though, dude. Nintendo they've. I mean, I'm not the only one in this boat either, but they've It would be great. I would love that would be such a cool play. But dude, that would be such a cool play. And if they like did the paint scheme on it and everything to look like a Super Nintendo, holy crap, that'd be so dope. That'd be so sick. Jesus. That'd be so cool. That'd be so dope, dude. But they've got to do something about backwards compatibility. It's just gets gone too far, dude. Ferret and I were talking about this yesterday. It's just gotten too gross. They're so bad, dude. There's so many of their games go from one platform to the next, and they're just like, oh well, what? Wait, you bought this on Wii U, but wait, this is a new console, so you need to buy it again. It's like we've talked about it a lot too. They've got to get better. It's so disgusting, man. I just hate it so much. I mean, honestly, and look, man, this is coming. Nintendo's the only modern console I own. I got to where I don't buy consoles anymore because it's all scummy. And Nintendo is the only modern one that I've kept up with. Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it hasn't kept up either, though. And not only that, but like the way that they're saying that they're not going to do this again, and time will tell when they release the new platform. But it's like every time they come out with a new platform, they get rid of the old eShops and everything too, instead of consolidating them. You know, like that's what should be done. They should be consolidating these eShops into one big eShop. Nintendo. It should just be Nintendo Online. It shouldn't be Wii U Online. It shouldn't be Wii Online. It shouldn't be 3DS on. Or it shouldn't be the DS Online. It shouldn't be Switch Online. It should have been everything consolidated to Nintendo Online a long time ago, and these eShops and everything. Yeah, I mean that's what they're saying. They're saying that moving forward, it shouldn't do this, but I'll believe it when I see it because they've it's been this way forever. You know what I mean? It's been this way forever for them, and that's one of my big criticisms about Nintendo is that they just constantly take away content from people and then shake their finger and go, "Don't you dare find this stuff anywhere else." You know what I mean? That's one of those things that makes me really, really dislike Nintendo, and I just want to see them do better. So a perpetual online platform that doesn't get changed out every single time they have a new console. Uh, well, I think that, and I understand that. And look, I mean, I've even said this as well. I think that Xbox and PlayStation have to get away from optical as well. But it doesn't mean that they can't find ways to give people the ability to show that they've owned those titles. There are ways to do it. Xbox is already working on it. Xbox has a patent in, they're working on the technology. Um, just because it doesn't have a disc reader internal doesn't mean it can't be hooked up to it either, though. See, that's the difference between a company having an aim at giving back to the community and the player base and the consumer base that has been so loyal to them over time, and then just not giving a crap too. You can't tell me technology is not out there because I know it is, right? But they don't want to invest in it. That's the difference. All these people that have, well, no, it's not just the Xbox Live account crap though, dude. They're actually developing like the ability for people to take physical discs, right? Physical discs, even attach external optical drives to the consoles and stuff or whatever platform you need to attach to an Xbox platform, whatever that is, scan a disc and go, you own this from Xbox One, Xbox 360, Xbox, original Xbox, whatever, and now you own a digital copy of it for this amount of time before you'll have to scan that disc again. You know what I mean? They're well into development on that. If you didn't know that, Xbox is well beyond any of the other console players of trying to give back as far as that kind of thing goes. You know, so yeah, I mean, I think that that's one of the things that I've you know, for Xbox, they actually appeal much greater to me than the other console players do nowadays, because they're trying to get that kind of thing done, and their current console's much better for backwards compatibility and stuff. And you're right, the Xbox Live stuff. Now, look, all the console players are really gross about the you need an online. You need to pay online to play online. I think that's, or you need to pay for the online to play online stuff. I think that's disgusting. But you're right. Xbox knew a long time ago that they needed to have their online universe set up as a perpetual state. I don't know why Nintendo didn't see it. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, it does. You're right. It does. Yeah, it does. And, you know, it seems like they should have seen it a long time ago. And honestly, I think that Nintendo doing what they did with the Switch and moving over to cartridges, which are basically just SD cards, right, was a much smarter play by them than what PlayStation and Xbox are doing now, because Xbox and PlayStation are in a really bad predicament at this point. Games are too big. Games are too big, and they can't, developers can't fit a game almost anymore on a single physical disc. And so a lot of these developers are at a point where they're going, well, do we push it out on multiple discs like we used to do 15 to 20 years ago? Or do we just not push it out as a physical copy anymore at all, right? And a lot of us in the PC world are like, whatever, dude. We haven't dealt with physical stuff in a long time, right? Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, but it's also a smarter play as far as storage capacity, the mobile part of it goes. And I'll tell you this, dude, I honestly think that Xbox needs to emulate what Nintendo has done, and the way that Steam Deck and Asus has followed suit with Switch. I don't think that Xbox needs to be making traditional consoles anymore. Xbox needs a mobile device that plays a dual role like a traditional console that is a mobile device as well, just like the Switch is. It fits their portfolio too well. For them to keep making traditional consoles, to me, doesn't make sense. But you're right, they needed to switch over to something else because of the portable aspect of it, but it was also smarter because games are getting bigger and bigger, and discs just can't handle it anymore. So they were ahead of the ball game on both fashions, right? Nintendo was. It was very smart by them. And now you've got like PlayStation and Xbox. It's like they're still running cassette tapes, basically. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. They pushed out their consoles with really small hard drives and old media, using old media that can't fit the storage space on it. If they're still going to be using physical, right? Honestly, dude, I think that Xbox is much better suited for something like what Switch has made standard now. You know what I mean? Switch is Nintendo with the Switch has shown that a device like that can be a standard thing. PlayStation's gross. They tried to come out with their Project Q or whatever, and these outlets keep calling it a handheld. It's not a handheld. It's a controller with a screen on it that's a remote access device. In no way, form, or fashion is it even close to a traditional handheld, and I hate that outlets keep calling it that. They're going to end up charging like $200 to $300 for that thing probably, and it literally can't do anything without a PS5 to connect to. It's so gross, and people are going to buy it up, dude. It's so disgusting. But I really think that Xbox has to change over from the traditional console space, dude, into doing something like Nintendo's done. Nintendo was way ahead of the game, dude. You can't deny that at all. They were way ahead of the game. they had been making their traditional consoles and their handheld consoles for so long, that they were like, I mean, epiphany, dude. Let's just do both in one. You know what I mean? And it worked so well, dude.
Oh.
Cash. Yeah, I mean, look, there were people that actually liked the PSP, and there were people that liked the PS Vita, but they didn't necessarily, I think, incorporate those devices very well. You know, or maybe it just wasn't the right time for them or something. People liked them, but it just wasn't great. They weren't great for PlayStation. That's why they quit. But you know, felt like too much. Yeah, yeah. And I think nowadays, the fact that you can take a device like, I mean, let's be fair. It works because mobile hardware has gotten so good, right? We're still not at the place where mobile hardware, trying to balance that like battery life and like TDP, real TDP heavy hardware, you're not going to get the same performance that you will out of real power hungry hardware that you get in a traditional console. Trying to balance battery life, we're not there yet, dude. We won't be for a while, but it has evolved greatly to the point where I think, especially like the next gen Switch and what we're seeing with devices like the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck and stuff, are showing how great those devices can be. And I'm glad it's coming to PC too, because I think it gives people an easier way to get into PC gaming than they've ever had before. You don't have to worry about having an entire PC setup. You can just have that handheld and you can dock it just like Switch and stuff. You know what I mean? Try too hard. Yeah. I kind of, I recall that. But I do think that, especially over PlayStation, I think that Microsoft Xbox benefits greatly from transitioning over to something like the Switch. It just, I mean, with everything they have from, what they've always done in the traditional console space, and the fact that they need to transfer over from that optical media anyways, it's got to happen. It's too old, dude. It's too old. It's not big enough anymore. They've got to get away from it. They're already working on this technology about external optical drives and all that anyways, so that could work for backwards compatibility or whatever you need it to, as well as their cloud streaming, their Game Pass stuff, all of that noise. You know what I mean? It just seems like it fits their portfolio much better, dude. It really does. In my opinion, anyways. I don't know. But I want to see Nintendo. I know that we kind of got off track there. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where most of us have gotten. And I think that it's a tough thing. I mean, PC gamers especially. I mean, we haven't been dealing with physical anything forever, right? I mean, I do maintain a physical copy. Honestly, funny enough, dude, I still maintain a physical copy almost entirely on my Switch. About every game I buy for my Switch, I buy physical. There's just something about having some kind of small modern collection of games that I can just throw in and not have to worry about connecting at all if I don't need to or whatever. I just do it, or not have to worry about like filling up my storage space or whatever, because most devices don't come with a large amount of storage space on them console wise and everything, yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to say. So it's physical side of things nowadays is usually about collectors or not having internet or having very, very bad internet. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things, right? Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. But there are still a lot of people in the world. I mean, many of us don't really think about it that often because we're so used to when we've had at least decent internet for such a long time. Yeah, that it kind of it's just something we don't necessarily grasp anymore. But there are a lot of people in the world that still deal with little to no internet connectivity, you know? And for those individuals, that's where physical copies of games in the console world still comes in very handy because they can buy the game. Is it going to have day one patches and stuff? No, but they're still able to play it, you know? And that's where they enjoy those physical collections at. So it's something we tend to forget about quite often. Now, obviously, as we move forward, we're constantly getting more internet connectivity across the world and everything, but we're still not there yet. You know, the entire world's just not connected, and there are people out there that still like their physical copies for that reason. I literally, I mean, you know, being a primarily PC gamer too. I mean, anybody that's a PC gamer in any form or fashion, really, you've become accustomed to the fact of just not needing physical copies anymore. You know, it's just the way it's been for so long. It's weird that it's such a difference between the PC world and the console world. It's taken a lot longer for the conversion to happen. You know, for people to be accepting of it, and they're still not really in the console space. A lot of console players are still throw fits. You see games like, what was it? Alan Wake 2 announced they weren't going to have physical copies, and dude, it was like, what? Really? Let's get physical. That reminds me of Despicable Me. Those movies are great. I'll get off of this. I don't know. We talk about this occasionally, and you know, it's one of those. It's a weird time, dude. It's a weird time for gaming. You know, PC has just been beyond this for such a very long time now, and console is just struggling to figure out how to take care of this situation. It's a really weird space. I do think Nintendo's in a much better spot moving forward because they switched over to the cartridges or SD cards, micro SD cards, I think is what they are actually. You know, with the Switch, which was 6 going on 7 years ago. I mean, it was very smart, even though they kind of needed to. It was still very smart. Whereas Xbox and PlayStation just kept with optical, and it blows my mind, man, that I don't know. It's like, what, they didn't foresee the fact that games were going to get too big? Really? I don't know, man. I don't know. Weird. Kind of weird. We'll get back to it. Sorry. I don't know. Got off track there for a bit. 500 plus games included in this week's Xbox sales, starting today through the 22nd. You can see the list right here. These are not going to be all of them, even close, but they're showing some of the bigger, better deals in this list here. Looks like there's a Plague Tale Innocence, Aliens Fireteam Elite. This, no, it's not. Is Fireteam Elite? What's the latest Aliens game that came out? It's gotten pretty good reviews, actually, man. Assassin's Creed Valhalla Ragnarok Edition, both 70% off. Borderlands 3, Chernobylite, Crysis Remastered Trilogy, Cult of the Lamb is an absolute banger. Highly recommend that one. Destroy All Humans 2, Reprobed, Evil West. You know, this is one of those games that, like, had some hype around it, and then it came out, and I just didn't really hear anything about it, dude. This game is $25. What? 75% positive? Oh, it's on sale. It's on sale. $25, it's on sale on PC. Okay. Just like on the Xbox sale. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Firefighting Simulator, The Squad, Gas Station Simulator, GTA 5, High on Life, Kentucky Route Zero. This is supposed to be a very good game right here, too. Kingdom Rush Frontiers, Maneater Apex Edition, Nobody Saves the World, Ollie Ollie World Rad Edition, Planet of Lana, Red Dead Redemption 2 Ultimate Edition. I need to play this. But I'll tell you what, dude. I am not about supporting Rockstar Games right now. With what they did with RDR1, bringing it back, charging people $50 for it on the Switch and the PS4, get wrecked. Rockstar can get wrecked, dude. RimWorld Console Edition, Rogue Legacy 2, Solstice, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake, Elder Scrolls Online Upgrade Necrom, The House of the Dead Remake, Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege Ultimate Edition, Vampire Survivors, Warhammer 40,000, Shoota's Blood and Teeth, Watch Dogs Legion Gold Edition, and What Remains of Edith Finch. All of these games are anywhere from 30 to like 80% off that they listed, and there's many, many more on the website. There's a link right here, so I'll link this for you guys. Go take a look, all right? Let's get physical. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, Pokemon Home compatibility coming soon. In a tweet from the official Japanese Pokemon Twitter account, it confirmed that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet update version 3.1.0 would include compatibility with Pokemon Home, allowing players to transfer Pokemon caught in the DLC to the Pokemon Home app. While no release date for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet update version 3.1.0 was given, it may release alongside the upcoming DLC, The Hidden Treasure of Area 0 Part 1, The Teal Mask, which releases on September 13th. The second part of the DLC will be released later this year. The Pokemon Company also confirmed over the weekend that the upcoming DLC will reintroduce every starter Pokemon that was missing from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This will mark a first for the series, which has never had every single starter Pokemon obtainable in the wild. These Pokemon will appear as part of the Hidden Treasure of Area 0 Part 2, the Indigo Disc. Pokemon Company also showed off several new moves that will be introduced in the upcoming DLC, as well as the first gameplay footage of Raging Bolt and Iron Crown. Yeah, this is something we hit on the other day too, which I'm very excited about actually. The Pokemon Company is having conversations internally. The COO has been quoted as stating that they want to maybe spread out the release of these games. They're having conversations about how to ensure the quality of future games under its frequent release schedule. And I think that's good. Pokemon's very lucrative, right? And there's a reason why they've gotten to this point of where they just release them nonstop. But I think it has started to show a little bit. This is the lowest rated mainline Pokemon game, I think, Metacritic wise, that's ever released. It wasn't bad, but it definitely didn't. It had some issues on release. And it didn't live up to maybe the expectations of what a lot of the other Pokemon games have done. And I say this quite often, whether it be Pokemon or Assassin's Creed or any of those other titles out there that get leaned on so heavily by developers to where they just are popping them out nonstop, year on end. You know what I mean? I don't know how people get hyped about them. It feels too polluted. It feels too saturated for people to get hyped when they're just nonstop releases. And Pokemon's a game series that I've brought up in this fashion before. And I think that it's good to hear them have a conversation, at the very least, about maybe we should take a bit more time to work on making sure the content and the performance is there in these games before releasing them out. I think that's for any of these titles, any of these long-running IPs and series that do this, I think that that's something that they should constantly be taking a look at. Are we doing this too fast? Are we getting the absolute best content we can in here for the fans and the consumers of these games? And it looks like Pokemon might be doing that, which I think is very smart. Pokemon players disqualified from World Championships for using hacked Pokemon. Get wrecked, nerds. They should be banned forever. They should be banned from competitive play forever, is what should happen. A viable competitive Pokemon could take dozens of hours to train. Wow, these competitors look scared, dude. What? Oh, geez, dude. Several Pokemon players were disqualified from the Pokemon World Championships over the weekend for using hacked Pokemon. The 2023 Pokemon World Championships took place over the weekend in Yokohama, Japan, and say thousands of players compete across several I think that's supposed to be saw thousands of players compete across several different Pokemon disciplines, such as the Pokemon trading card game, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Unite, and arguably the most popular event, the Pokemon Video Game Championships known as Pokemon VGC. However, this year saw several professional players disqualified from the event for using hacked Pokemon. While these Pokemon are technically obtainable in the game via normal gameplay, this could take hundreds of hours. This has led players to use third-party applications to generate the Pokemon with the optimal stats. Another factor that is due to some Pokemon only being available in certain games, some players, including some of the pro players that were disqualified, used these hacked Pokemon, seemingly to circumvent those requirements. DQ'd at 2-0, should have gotten my Mons myself. Half my team was modified Gen. I didn't have Legends of Arceus to get the Lando, and I didn't have my copy of Sword Shield to get Urshifu. I tried trading for the Mons with a reputable trader, but the Mons didn't pass. Here's should have got my Mons myself, wrote Brady Smith on Twitter. I guess like the weirdest part in all of this is that they waited till the WCS to start upping their game. I wish it was consistent throughout all the season, but at least we now have this consistently established. They're finally not messing around. Get your Mons legit, y'all. Using hacked Pokemon has been regular occurrence. What? In the Pokemon VGC community for years. While some use it for nefarious means, it's largely used to save time. In high-level competitive Pokemon play, each Pokemon has to be trained to a specific set of stats. Doing this in-game can take a significant amount of time, especially if a player is using a Pokemon that can't be found in the wild and is instead hatched from eggs. Players have argued that in the process of building and testing various competitive teams, it's prohibitively time-consuming to expect players to be able to naturally train every Pokemon they use. In previous years and in many regional tournaments, the security checks for these hacked Pokemon are lax. Many players have easily used entire teams of hacked Pokemon to complete and even qualify for the World Pokemon Championship. However, it now appears the Pokemon Company is taking a much more severe stance on the matter. Interesting. Huh. I wonder why now. If they didn't do it at all prior, why now? Hacked Pokemon. I know, dude. I think it's probably a situation of previously they were probably like, yeah, it doesn't make sense to make people have to just waste time. When eventually they would get these Pokemon anyways, but it's just a huge waste of time. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. But then it gets convoluted with the fact of people actually hacking Pokemon to get Pokemon that you wouldn't normally be able to get in a game, right? And so they're probably taking a stance now where it's like, yo, any Pokemon that's obtained abnormally is considered hacked and you're done, right? That's probably the stance they're taking now. As opposed to it being a differing, I don't know. But that's weird, dude. That's weird. Kind of odd. Yeah, that's what I would assume too. But I've never been a part of this, and that's what I would assume too. Is like, you know, to be legit. And I mean, you guys know the way I feel about stuff. That's the way I would approach this. Is like, if you're going to win this tournament, I would want it to feel legit. I would want it to feel like I found these Pokemon in the game. I raised them from finding them and catching them or breeding them or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Rather than just going boop, 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 you just like create your Pokemon out of nothing. You know what I mean? It's weird. Uh, I know there's still like an amount of knowledge and skill that goes into like having to fight them and everything, but it does feel like half the process is supposed to be obtaining them and training them, getting them prepped for the battle and everything, right? I mean, yeah, apparently it's a lot. It's a lot because I think this has been a very prominent thing that's gone on for a long time, apparently. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. They've definitely made it to where it has changed the landscape of the competitive Pokemon scene, right? All the stuff they've done recently with Pokemon definitely makes it different, right? But like all the crystallized stuff, right? And some of the other like inherent abilities they can have and everything now, it's changed things quite a bit, right? I mean, I haven't really played it, but I know about it. Let's go, dude. That means it's gonna be a good day. Random mode time. Yeah, the Terra typing stuff, right? Like, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty wild. But apparently, there's a lot of people that got wrecked here, dude. That's crazy. You know, it's bro. I love seeing like this is what I love seeing like the 30-year-old dudes up here with like the 12-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like, I love that, dude. I love it. I think it's great. You're like, bro, I've been training Pokemon since before you were even born, boy. uh, yeah. Right. Exactly, dude. Yeah. It really brings in an entirely new dynamic as to how battles can go and everything. Right. Might have been age categories. Yeah, maybe, dude. Maybe. Who knows? We could look into it maybe sometime. That's wild, dude. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 lets you slow down combat to 30% speed. Accessibility, dude. Accessibility. In a new update on the PlayStation website, a slew of new accessibility options have been revealed for Spider-Man 2, which include being able to slow down gameplay to 30% speed. The website outlines building on the accessibility improvements in previous titles. These features will allow the game to be enjoyed by more players of different abilities. Audio. Screen reader support will read aloud all on-screen text and menus. Captions, on-screen captions, and audio descriptions are available for cinematic scenes. Gameplay. You can choose to slow down the action to 70%, 50%, or 30% of the full speed. Excuse me. Switching back to regular speed at any time. As mentioned, the new features will build off the accessibility improvements in previous titles, which for Marvel Spider-Man Remastered include QTE autocomplete, change button taps to hold, web shooter burst, aim mode, swing parkour mode, air trick mode, chase assist, enhanced auto aim, increased dodge window, and skip puzzles. Controller accessibility vibration intensity, gadget select button, photo mode shortcut, adaptive triggers, camera inversion, camera shake and sensitivity, swing camera motion, camera follow and combat camera, look at waypoint, HUD, subtitle, audio, visual, all kinds of accessibility stuff. You can read through all of them here, but that's great. I mean, this is... There's more of a focus, right? There's more of a focus than there ever has been on accessibility. Should have been there a long time ago. It's easier nowadays, I think, for developers to incorporate these kinds of accessibility features than it ever was, which is making it easier for it to be incorporated, which is great. But there always should have been more of a focus on accessibility for players to get in that have a tougher time gaming. And look, I'm going to rip on PlayStation real quick because I do find it off-putting PlayStation has come out with their Project Leonardo controller for people with disabilities. And this controller costs like $30 more than a DualSense controller does. And I understand business is a business, but um, you know, it's people with disabilities, significant disabilities, disabilities that are of a high enough, you know, degree that they need something like a an accessibility controller. They already have a lot of obstacles that they have to get over just to enjoy the world of gaming, right? For them to have to spend $30 more for a controller they need than anybody else has to spend for a controller to play a game, that's just another hurdle that's unfair, man. And I would have much rather had seen PlayStation get the price of that controller down similar to at least close to what a normal DualSense 5 controller is, so that people with disabilities aren't having to go through anything more on that front again than any other person has to get into gaming. So accessibility is needed. It's great to see developers have such an aim nowadays, some developers anyways, at incorporating as much accessibility as possible into their software because it's needed. As far as I'm concerned, it's critical that we get as many people into this world that we love as possible. And there's so many people out there that want to game that can't because of physical or mental limitations, disabilities, and they deserve to be able to enjoy the world that we all love so much as well. And it just feels bad that, you know, like I said, for PlayStation and any other developer out there, I would prompt them to try and take a look at maybe trying the very best they can to uh, not make getting accessibility peripherals, anything like that, a greater task of, in a monetary way than what any of us have to deal with for a normal, you know, controller or peripheral to get into gaming. You know what I mean? It's not fair. That's not fair that they've had to wait so long to get into the world that we love, and then it costs them more too. That's not fair, man. It's not fair. I get it, business. I understand, but you know, come on, man. I know. Expecting businesses to care about people. Weird, right? Weird. The people that keep them in business. How weird. But this is great. I linked this, so you should be able to see all the accessibility options for Spider-Man 2, okay? Assassin's Creed Mirage will launch earlier than expected. So we're used to seeing delays in the release of video games, as it is a common occurrence. The opposite can happen too, albeit very rarely. Ubisoft seems to be eager to launch the next installment in the Assassin's Creed series. Has been moved forward to the release of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Fans of the iconic action adventure series will be able to join Basim in a new experience that will delve deeper into the secrets and the origins of the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Yeah. Oh, by a week. Okay. So it was slated for October 12th, and now it's been changed to October 5th. I wonder why. Okay. Uh, it's not a significant bump up, so probably won't have any kind of effect. But I mean, you know, we'll see. Hogwarts Legacy pushed aside as new open. Ferret Amazers, bro. What's up, dog? Hogwarts Legacy pushed aside as new open world Harry Potter console game captures fan attention. Yo, Ferret, you know what we got coming, dude? Lego Harry Potter. New Lego Harry Potter games, dude. Hogwarts Legacy moment in the Wizarding spotlight may be over for now, at least. Harry Potter fans have turned their attention to something new, as it looks as if a new Lego Harry Potter game or collection will soon be unveiled. Your 7 TV is gone. What? What happened? There's no denying that. Here, if you need it, should be right there. There's no denying that Hogwarts Legacy is a behemoth of a game. It's had a behemoth of issues on PC. Tell you that. Warner Brothers South Africa accidentally let slip that something Lego Harry Potter related is on the way on their Instagram page. Post was surprisingly quickly removed. The image featured a Lego version of the titular character with the date 25 August. It's 10 days, dude. Oh, just had to refresh. Oh, okay, cool. Peter, what's up, brother? What's going on, man? Fans of Lego games will know that there's already a Lego Harry Potter collection bundling together years 1 through 4 and 5 through 7 releases, so you may be wondering exactly what is on the way. Could well be a remake of the collection featuring updated graphics, much like last year's The Skywalker Saga. Perhaps it'll include Fantastic Beasts DLC, just as that release featured Andor and the Mandalorian characters. This is purely speculation, though. Yeah, what we do know is that Jeff Keighley fronted Gamescom Opening Night Live is due to air on 22nd August. Again, if you didn't hear me talk about this earlier today, a week from today. So next Tuesday is Opening Night Live. And we will be watching Gamescom Opening Night Live here in the channel. So we'll do the news. We'll game all day. That is the day that WrestleQuest is supposed to release. So we'll play WrestleQuest that day as long as it still releases on time. It doesn't get delayed again. And then we'll finish the stream off that day with like Opening Night Live from Gamescom. So it'll be 1 o'clock p.m. our time. If you're in North America, that is 11 o'clock Pacific, 12 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Central. That's our time. And then 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so a week from today. I'll keep reminding people as we get close, but we're going to watch it. Most likely the game will be revealed there. It's unknown whether the collection will drop immediately the next day or whether the 23 August is simply when we'll receive a full trailer. I'd imagine the latter, but it shouldn't be too long before we find out. This is probably a remaster of this game with that included DLC. It's probably not going to be a new Lego Harry Potter game, I would assume. Or else we probably would have seen something about it by now. Not that it couldn't happen. We've been surprised by a shadow drop this year. It can happen. Hi-Fi Rush, right? But more than likely, this would be something where you're talking like a remaster of the... Because those original Lego Harry Potter games have been out for a long time. Yeah, it was just a remaster. Yeah, I own the original ones and everything, so... But for anybody that doesn't, they're bangers. They're good. And if it includes the DLC for the Fantastic Beasts stuff and everything too, then it could be worth. You know, Lego games are good. You got them on the Switch, right on. No, it's not all in one. So they've got like it's like years 1 through 4 and then years 5 through 7 or whatever is the way the games are split up. Yeah. You can ask me something, Poison. That doesn't mean I'll answer it. I'll probably answer it. What's up, Poison? Good to see you. Yeah, so take a look. Yo, Peter, right here, like on Steam. Harry Potter. So this is the way they're split up normally. You can get them as a bundle more often than not. I think if I clicked on one, you'd be able to get the bundle. But it's Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4, and then Lego Harry Potter years 5 through 7. And then there's some DLC for them too. Do they bundle them? Yeah, there's a collection. So you can get the bundle. The bundle info. So the bundle is both, right? The bundle is both of them together. But they split them up into 2 different games normally. Yeah, 2 parts. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Switch is a perfect kind of console for those Lego games. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, but to be fair, they would work very well on the Steam Deck as well if you're a PC gamer. Um, yeah, fair. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the games are just a little bit different from each other, right? I got asked to play a game that I haven't played in a year. Yeah, yeah, Peter. Yeah, I understand that. Yep, yep, for sure. Hmm. The people we had talked about previously that were being pretty toxic. Is that what you mean in your stream last year or whatever? Is that what you're talking about? They actually invited you to play a game. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, my initial reaction to that would be just to ignore. You know what I mean? Um, but that's just something you're gonna have to kind of decide for yourself, I guess. It's I don't really know what that entire situation involves, or you know what all has happened there. Uh, what kind of relationship you had with them prior to that, or anything like that. I mean, I'll tell you this. Like I said to you before, there's always the potential for some relationships just to you know not necessarily continue. Yeah. And if that is the case, if what has happened is one of those situations where you feel like the relationship between you and that individual is not worth pursuing anymore or whatever, then you're probably better off just staying away from their request to play games together or whatever, too. But it's just something you have to determine for yourself, you know? I don't know. It's a hard one for anybody outside of the particular situation themselves to give you a definitive answer on, you know? And look, I'll say this as well. If something seems off, if something seems fishy, or if something seems maybe too good to be true at the same time or whatever, usually it is. If your gut's telling you something, your gut's usually right, you know? So if that's maybe one of those situations as well, then trust yourself. You know what I mean? Um, I don't really know what else to give you on that front. Um, if they did things, you know, that resulted in them, you maybe no longer wanting them to be a part of your community and things like that. If it was bad enough that that's the result, then you probably no reason to really be playing games with them or anything either. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. I mean, normally trusting your gut is one of the best things you can do. Honestly, you know, I truly believe that. If your gut's telling you something, you should listen to it. Quite often, mine says eat more food, so that's what I do. You know, and that's why I'm fat. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Look, Poison. If you feel like you need to talk about this a little bit more, maybe not in like chat, and you want to send me a DM on Discord or whatever, then feel free to do that, and I can try to help you flesh this out a little bit more. You know what I mean? But I just that would be my general advice. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. If that's the case, then I would say that this is the way I approach things. Um, I do my very best to treat people the way I get treated And you know what I mean? Like that's the way I approach relationships in my life. I want to be surrounded by people that are going to care about me enough to treat me the same way and treat each other the same way they expect to get treated, right? And not that people don't make mistakes either. There's always the potential for people to be having a bad day and maybe mess up or whatever, right? But I think the key behind that is that if somebody messes up and makes a mistake, they realize it. They're mature enough to understand that they did something wrong, and they own it. You own those mistakes, and you tell people you're sorry, and that you know you learn from it, and you don't let those things happen again, and you try and ensure that you've reconciled and patched up that relationship or whatever, right? But you know, if people aren't of that same mindset, with as far as I'm concerned, if people aren't of that same mindset, they don't treat relationships the same way. I don't really have any space for them in my life. They don't fit. They don't fit. Sometimes it takes time to understand if people are of that same mentality, that same mindset. You know what I mean? That's the way I address things. I make mistakes. I'm human. Other people make mistakes. They're human. That's okay. Learning from it's the important thing, right? Learning from it's the important thing. Being able to talk through it as a civilized adult, as a mature, civilized individual, being civil about the situation and trying to give your side while listening also to their side and figuring out how to move forward. If you can do that, then that's okay. Now, what I'd say is what potentially sounds like happened there, right, would lead me to believe that they quite possibly owe you an apology. Yeah. And if they don't feel like they did anything wrong, maybe, yeah, I don't know if you've relayed that information to them or whatever, that this is why that went down that way. This is why you feel like that you took actions in your community against them or whatever. And if they just never came back with anything, then it's just a dead issue. You know what I mean? Obviously, they didn't see eye to eye with what you saw and the way you felt about what happened. And it just needs to be probably better off being done with. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that nobody's going to be able to address besides yourself, according to how you feel about the way you want to address a relationship, and you know, in that fashion. And but ultimately, if that's the case, if that's what went down, and now they're hitting you up trying to play games and everything, it doesn't seem like something I would engage in unless they came to me first and were like, look, I've taken time, I understand I might have messed up. They like offered an apology, and I'm very quick to apologize to people if I know that I've done something wrong, you know. But people don't always know they've done something wrong either. So it's important that if you feel like you've been wrong, you sometimes need to bite the bullet and let people know that, you know, they've done something to offend or upset you or whatever also, right? So it can go both ways. But I think it's something you just have to flesh out for yourself, figure out for yourself, and see whether or not this feels like something you want to pursue, and see if you can mend this relationship or not. You know, it's a tough thing sometimes. But even harder, I think, is understanding and being able to let go of some relationships that you thought might have been better than they actually are. It happens. It happens. There'll be occasions, I think, and I think most people can attest to this fact. There'll be occasions where you've thought you've built a relationship with certain people, and something has happened, and you've done your part maybe in trying to reconcile and even maybe apologizing for what could have been a bad play on your part, and they act like they didn't do anything, or you know, and they're not willing to own their side of it or whatever, you know. And if that's the case, then you know, it's just probably better let go. There's all kinds. I mean, every situation's different, things like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but we're all human. We all have the propensity to make mistakes, but I think the biggest, I honest to God, I feel like um, life is a big test, and the people that I tend to surround myself with are people that have understood that um, a big part of the test is maturing through it, understanding how to grow through it, learning through mistakes. If you're not learning from your mistakes, you're inevitably going to make those same mistakes again and fail by them, right? It doesn't mean it won't ever happen, but if you're learning by your mistakes, then you have a much less uh, potential to make those same mistakes again. And I think that that's what people should be doing. You know, we're not perfect. You know, people aren't perfect. We make mistakes, and that's okay. They're, as long as you're learning and you're becoming a better human being by learning from them, I think that's the big test. You know, and I think that that's why I try to surround myself with people like that. I try to impart that kind of wisdom onto my kids too. It's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes, as long as you're learning from it and you're being better afterwards for it. But not everybody has that mindset. And for me, if I come across somebody that I can tell doesn't have that mindset, then I just don't really care to keep moving forward with them as part of my life, you know? And that's something you're going to have to figure out for yourself, I think. Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. Hopefully that helps. I don't know, man. Look, I'm not a relationship expert, dude. You know what I mean? All I can tell you is like, I've had a lot of life lessons, and I am from the school of hard knocks, dude. Um, in all aspects of life. In all aspects of life, dude. I was a very hard-headed individual as a youngster, man, and I had a lot of people that tried to put me on the right track, try to tell me where I would mess up if I kept doing things, and you know, I would keep doing those things. But eventually, I think I came to my own, and I realized, you know, that there's a certain way I needed to be doing things and learning from mistakes and things like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I'm no relationship expert. I don't feel like I'm probably the best person to be giving people life you know uh lessons or but if I can help and impart any of the kind of lessons that I have experienced on my own to people and it does help, then I guess that's a win. You know what I mean? So what I will say for anybody that has heard this or been a part of this, I do care about everybody that's part of what we do here. I really do. I really do. And it doesn't mean I won't make a mistake, but it also understand that if I have made a mistake and I've done anything to offend, that as long as I'm aware of it, I'll do everything to reconcile as well. But I expect the same kind of respect, you know, back also, you know, for myself and for everybody to treat everybody the same way as part of this community. Um, that's what it's always supposed to have been about, you know? So I don't know. In that particular situation, I think it's just something you're gonna have to figure out for you. Only you have all the definitive information behind that particular situation, and you'll have to just figure out how you best want to address it, you know? Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game is being called one of the scariest games ever made. Dude, this could be some good stuff for some Scaretober, you know? Um, Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game is being dubbed one of the scariest of all time. It's been almost 4 decades since the original movie was released. The new game, developed by Sumo Nottingham, is set to make your skin crawl. The new game is based on the 1974 movie and is described as a killer game for fans of the asymmetrical horror genre that provides intricate maps, varied gameplay, and 4v3 balance. Not only that, the game features 5 different killers, including Leatherface, the cook, the hitchhiker, and 2 other family members new to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, Johnny and Sissy. The game follows victims Anna Flores, Connie Taylor, Julie Crawford, and Leland McKinney and Sonny Williams as they search for Anna's missing sister, Maria, while falling into the hands of these cold-blooded killers. And if that sounds terrifying, critics have confirmed that this immersive game will make the hairs on your neck stand up. Mike Delaney for GameSpot dubbed the new video game one of the scariest games ever ahead of its August 18th release. Quote, as one of the year's scariest and best designed experiences, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has reset the bar for multiplayer horror games. Nice. He also praised the game's bone-chilling sound effects that adapts to every situation, culminating in a pulse-pounding number that plays whenever a player is the last victim left on the map. Donovan Erskine rated the game an impressive 8 out of 10. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a splendid new entry in the asymmetrical multiplayer family. Its recreation of the characters and locations from the 1974 movie is deeply impressive, as it's abundantly clear that authenticity was a top priority during development, he wrote. Helps to enhance the exhilarating gameplay, though I do worry about its approachability given the deep systems and mechanics. Not now, man. While Miles Dompier wrote for Windows Central, the game seamlessly transitioned from the big screen to the small, as it offers a transformative moment in horror cinema through a modernized online multiplayer vessel. It might be a little rough around the edges in some regards and lack an extensive suite of game modes. The core experience is undeniably Texas Chainsaw, he wrote. We've seen some of the making of this game and everything, and it does look pretty dope. The difference being here that they really held true to what this story. If you don't know, this is based upon a true story as well. So, yes, it's most notoriously a movie series, right? Or it's been adapted to be movies, but the original is actually based off of a true story. And what's different here is that this game has taken what has been made very popular in the gaming industry in the horror realm of multiplayer games from a 1v4 scenario that we've seen so very often, made very popular by like Dead by Daylight, right? 4 survivors versus 1 killer. That has been made very, very popular by that game. And we've seen it be emulated a number of times after Dead by Daylight's popularity skyrocketed. This game has turned it into something different, where it's, what is it? 4 killers, 3 killers versus 4 survivors. 4v3. 4v3. Yeah. And so which is what the original story was. It wasn't just Leatherface. It was Leatherface and some family members, right? And so you've got 4 survivors versus 3 killers, I think is what it is. And one of the killers being Leatherface, right? So that's a little bit different than anything we've really seen so far. And apparently it works very well from what we've heard. It's set to be released this week. Will be available via Microsoft Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. They might have some links in here. If you want to take a look at some videos and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Maybe we need to give this a shot during Scaretober. Play a little bit of some Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know? That could be a thing. Bandai Namco plans to release a number of major titles in the second half of 2023. So we've kind of talked about this before. You know what, dude? I've had trouble with that in the past as well, dude. I know, dude. And why couldn't they just be like PlayStation? You know, like, come on, man. You know, because what was it? Was it three? It was Xbox, then 360, and then the Xbox One, and is that how it went? Jesus, dude. No, I'm missing one in there, right? But not with numbers. Yeah, I know. Theirs have been a little bit easier for me though, even though I haven't owned them all. Uh, that's how it went, right? How? See, now you got me thinking about it, dude. What was it? Let's just look at it. So there's the original, then the 360, then the One, and then the S and X. Yeah, yeah, I was on it. Yeah, I still own this bad boy. Oh yeah, this was the so this one used to have lasers burn up inside them all the time in the optical drives. This one was the red light of death because they overheated all the time. You know what I mean? Never owned an Xbox. Yeah, I've. Oh, and then there was the One X as well. Don't forget about that. Right, the One X. I forgot about that. That's where I was getting a little bit confused. Yeah, this is the only one I owned, dude, and I still own it. Yeah, I was always more of a PlayStation fan, honestly. Um, PlayStation and Nintendo, and I don't know. Oh yeah, you saw you put it right there in chat. Yeah, thanks for it. Yeah, but honestly, I mean, I feel like I respect Xbox as a company much more than I respect Nintendo or PlayStation nowadays. You know, crazy enough. Bandai recently published their financial results, and company has informed investors their plans to release a number of major titles during the second half of 23 and beyond. One of the games mentioned was Naruto X Boruto. We've talked about that one, though they wouldn't disclose the others. Well, we already know Tekken 8's in development. We already know they're going to be publishing Armored Core, right? That's going to be published by them. So I don't know how they left that out. Not Smormered Core, Armored Core. Yeah, Bandai, publisher. See, From Software is trying to get to where they're publishing their own games solely now, but Bandai is still a part of it. So Bandai is a publisher on Armored Core. I don't know how that was left out at all, but they've got some games and stuff. So you can get 10 Steam games for only $5 at Fanatical, guys. Here you go. Try and outdrink the devil to escape hell. Become a property developer. Take on challenging platforming in this new Fanatical bundle deal. Build your own Super Summer Bundle is available. Gives you a selection of Steam games from as little as 50 cents each. You can grab a single game for just $1, 5 for 3, or 10 games for $5 in this deal. The standout title here is After Party, a narrative adventure from Night School Studio. That's the same studio that does Oxenfree. Yep, the team behind Oxenfree. I just needed to keep reading, I guess. After meeting their end on Earth, Milo and Lola find themselves trapped for all eternity in hell. But there is one way out of their infernal torment. If the duo can drink the devil himself under the table, they'll be allowed to return to the land of the living once again. Beating Satan in a drinking contest isn't easy, but along with the help of new friends who inhabit hell, the pair have a fighting chance to escape damnation. A few other standout games you can choose from here include the challenging platformer Sunblaze, zombie slaying action and blood and zombies, and a nostalgic return to the golden era of city building games in Constructor Classic 1997. So, games included in the summer bundle: After Party, Awry, and The Secret of Seasons, Lost Worlds Beyond the Page. These are Steam Deck verified games. Ludus, Lair of the Clockwork God, Monstrum 2, Dad Quest, Constructor Classic 1997, Sunblaze, Janitor Bleeds, Deep Space Battle Simulator, Northmark, Hour of the Wolf, Far, Lone Sails, Superbugs Awaken, Toy Tinker Simulator, Dust to the End, Mob Rule Classic, Smart Factory Tycoon, Blood and Zombies, Nomad Survival. Dude, at least half of those are Steam Deck verified too. Here. Last article I have for the day, guys. If you have anything else to add to our video gaming news segment, let me know in chat. I'll address it before we move on and play day 9 of Fallout New Vegas. All right. So once I finish this article, if nobody has anything else to add, then we'll segue our way out of this and then we'll go play some games. Cool. Netflix finally streams video games too. Netflix's first cloud gaming test announces the arrival of the real Netflix of games. Here we go, man. This is what I've been talking about. Netflix needing to get done here. Netflix is kicking off the first public test of its cloud streamed games beginning Monday. Some Netflix subscribers in Canada and the UK will be able to check out Netflix games streamed to select TVs, connected TV devices, and on the web from Netflix.com. Oh yeah. We talked about it. As a matter of fact, our buddy Syek has already been using like their emulator set up for developers to like run games through Mac like they would work on Windows and stuff. He said it works really well. But what specifically are you talking about? Like make a play into PC gaming setup? I mean, they've been trying to work their way into the gaming Macs have for quite some time in different areas. You know what I mean? It hasn't gone too well for them, but yeah. Keep talking to me, man. I'll address it as I read after I read this. In a blog post, Netflix VP of Games Mike Verdu characterized this as a limited beta test to a small number of members, so not all subscribers in Canada and the UK will have it right away. But even though this initial launch is small, it marks a potentially huge moment for Netflix's gaming ambitions. Um, Two games available right now are the first Oxenfree and a new title, Mole Hugh's Mining Adventure, which Verdu describes as a gem mining arcade game. When playing on TV, you'll control games by using your smartphone, or on Android, the controller will be accessible through the Netflix app, while on iOS, you'll need to download a special controller app. Spokesperson Chrissy Keller tells The Verge, yes, the one that mysteriously appeared on the App Store last week. Right. If you have access to the games on the web, you'll play them with a mouse and keyboard. Yeah, boy. Here are the TVs and connected TV devices that will support Netflix's games for now. Fire TV streaming media players, Chromecast with Google TV, LG TVs, NVIDIA Shield TV, Roku devices and TVs, Samsung Smart TVs, Walmart On. Verdu promises more devices will be added on an ongoing basis. I haven't tried any of Netflix's streamed games myself, so I can't vouch for what it's like to actually play them. Given Netflix's long experience in streaming video, I suspect that things are going to be decently smooth. Any streaming hitches will feel a lot more annoying in a video game. They might more annoying in a video game than they might while you're watching an episode of Stranger Things. Even if there are some hiccups, and there probably will be, I bet Netflix is okay with that. It's clearly starting small to give itself room to iron out any initial issues. Since Netflix views cloud gaming as a value add, which is closer to Microsoft's approach than Google's failed strategy for Stadia, I'd bet it doesn't need cloud gaming to work perfectly from the jump. Netflix subscribers can always fall back on any of its 70 mobile games if they want. Yeah, this is a big thing, though. Like I've said, okay, Ferret, thanks, man. Let me just give me a second. I'll talk about it. Netflix has had a nice, I feel like, strategy to their initial entry into gaming, which was bringing in mobile apps, right? But one of the nice things also is notable mobile games too, and not just mobile games, but like Oxenfree, um, Into the Breach. I mean, they've had a slew of them. I can't think of a lot of them off the top of my head, but they've had a lot of them that work well as a mobile title that aren't necessarily just solely mobile titles. They've brought into the fold here. They've bought some development studios. They're working on their own AAA game right now. The thing that's a bit off-putting is that you're only able to play their games through their app right now. And you can't play it on a desktop. You can't play their games on like a console. And I've been talking about that here recently where it feels like they need to get that going. Another nice thing is that obviously you can't play their games without a subscription, but if you do have a subscription and you want to play their games, you don't have to worry about ads or any microtransactions because they don't add any of that stuff to any of their games, which is comforting, right? But at this point, they really need to start fleshing this out, which it sounds like they're doing. If you want people buying into your gaming platform, and granted, it's still kind of early for them, but Sorry, it's definitely moving along. Um, People are going to want access to this content in on various platforms, whether it be being able to access it through their website, being able to access it through a desktop app on PC, being able to access it through your consoles. You know, you name it. If you can game on it, people are going to want to access it if you have a Netflix subscription, right? And that's where I've been for a minute now in regards to where Netflix currently is, that they need to get this done. And it looks like they're working on it. So that's good. I think that's the right track. But they need to really push this and get it pushed out for people. I'll link it for you guys if you need it. Um, oh, it's a special configuration. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you throw it in here, dude, and I'll pull it up real quick. We might have hit on this. Um, you activate when you're playing on a Mac. Yeah, the Sonoma thing sounds familiar. So it's just like gaming mode, huh? So with Mac OS Sonoma, thanks Ferret, thanks buddy. Apple has a new feature called Game Mode, which kicks in automatically when the user launches the game, gives it top CPU and GPU priority to maximize the game's performance. Also improves connectivity with wireless devices, so items such as controllers and AirPods have less latency. Game Mode is all part of Apple's efforts to make the Mac more appealing to both developers, sorry, and users as a gaming device. As a user, here's what you need to know about Game Mode, how to use it. Game Mode is what we just kind of talked about. Mac's switch to Apple Silicon has unlocked performance that couldn't be reached with Intel chips, and modern games run much better. Better is very vague, though. Users still can't do anything to customize the hardware, like install a faster GPU. So Apple developed Game Mode to address this. It boosts game performance, so video frame rates are higher and games play smoother at more detailed graphic settings. Also, latency with wireless gaming and audio devices is reduced. This is still vague. Yeah, not on purpose, for sure. At least not consciously. That's funny, Ferret. This is still vague. I mean, look. Um, So they've got some benchmarking done here though. When game mode is active, the game gets the highest priority, and the CPU and the GPU. With the CPU and the GPU, any app running in the background gets pushed back in priority. To get an idea of how this prioritization works, I ran Geekbench 6 on an M1 Pro MacBook Pro. Look, man, Apple's expensive, right? What are we talking here? Let me see something real quick. Let me see something. Really? Nothing? Mm, I'm guessing we're probably talking about something about in the $1,500 range. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. Let's get back to this. To get an idea of how this prioritization works, I ran Geekbench 6 on an M1 Pro MacBook Pro with Resident Evil Village running with game mode. Game wasn't affected at all when Geekbench was doing its thing in the background. Game ran smoothly. I didn't notice any hiccups because of Geekbench running. Now, running at what settings though, dude? All right. In case you're wondering, the laptop's Geekbench 6 score with no game running was 2411 single CPU, 12499 multi CPU, 67569 compute metal. With already running with game mode, the Geekbench scores were drastically lower. 1661, 8569, and 3680, respectively. It's clear that game mode pushed Geekbench to a lower score processing priority. Yeah. In my testing with the macOS Sonoma beta, I didn't find a difference between the game mode being on and off. With Rise of Tomb Raider, frame rates were at 85 frames per second, did not change between modes. Resident Evil Village was always around 100 frames. Yeah, but at what settings, dude? See, that's the thing. Like, Mac is just. I'm glad that they are trying to get Mac users to a place where this is my thing. I'm glad they're trying to get Mac users to a place where they can play more games viably. You know what I mean? But Apple inherently has always been about first party hardware. You can't do anything about that, right? It's just like they're so locked in. You know, you're it's not about customizability. It's not about, anything of that nature. And they're not like top of the line GPUs or anything like that they're throwing in these PCs or anything like that. I think that their graphics capabilities have come a long ways over the past couple of years, but it's nothing to the same effect of like what you get out of a discrete NVIDIA card, right? It's just not. And it's good. It's good that they're getting Mac users capability for gaming. That's fantastic. But you're not going to be able to change my mind about the fact that as far as like, if you want a PC for gaming and getting other things done as well, price versus performance, dude, you'll be able to get much more out of a PC that you buy pre-built or build yourself than you will for what you're paying for that Apple symbol. You pay a lot for that. Section talking about settings, you'll get a good laugh. Wait, what? For real? Does game mode have any? It does not. You simply turn it on and off. All performance adjustments are done in the game. What? Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Great. Yeah, that sounds good. So, I mean, look, I know, and everybody's welcome to their opinion on. I know there are a lot of people that like Apple products and everything. That's fine. That's fine. But I, for the longest time, have been in the technology realm in the world. I haven't really kept up with Apple to a great deal because Apple's overpriced, dude. A lot of stuff is, don't get me wrong, but Apple's always been way overpriced, man. Like significantly. You're paying for that icon. You know what I mean? And they've always been very, very bad about working well with other products, other manufacturers' products, and stuff like that. And it's just really off-putting for me, man. People love their Apple stuff. Their AR headset, $3,000. Yeah, Jesus. That thing should flipping crap golden eggs in your lap while you're playing on it. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus. Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. I think that I'm not gonna knock people necessarily for if they like Apple products. You want to use Apple products or whatever. That's your prerogative. You know what I mean? You're welcome to do that if that's what you want to do. Personally, I'm not a fan of their stuff. But if you want to, that's cool. And I'm glad that they're trying to get more done with their gaming side of their PCs in 2023 finally. You know what I mean? But it's still real vague, you know? Yeah, imagine the gaming PC you could build with 3K. Yeah, dude, no doubt. Absolutely. Yeah, that would be a banger of a PC, dude. No doubt about it. So, I don't know. I mean, it's this has always been one of the issues with me and Apple products as well. They they want you very locked in. They don't want you messing with settings really. They don't want you, files, systems and, I mean, at least that was a lot of my experience with so my first smartphone was an Apple phone and I was like after I tried Apple, I went to an Android and I was like, I will never go back. I will never go back because I'm, the way my mind works and the tech-minded kind of individual I am. I hated being locked into the Apple stuff, dude. Save a clip there. I get them every once in a while. Every once in a while, dude. I'll get a nice, funny clip out of a news segment. It happens. Yeah. But I save most of the time if I'm like marking something to take out of the news segment, it's because it's a viable thing to put on YouTube for us to address, as far as gaming goes. Not normally something that's like funny, But it happens. It happens. Thanks for clipping it, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I'm not gonna knock them for sure for trying to get their consumers to have a more fleshed out experience as far as gaming goes for sure. I mean, I think that's great, but I guarantee you this: their consumers are not getting near the gaming experience, in relation to what they're paying for their devices for, as opposed to what like a PC user is getting in a gaming experience and the hardware they're paying for. It's not close. It's not close. I guarantee it. But also, to be fair, I don't think most people buy into a Mac to game, So, I don't know. Good article, though, dude. I don't know. Wild. That's the jam, dude. That's the news. That's the news, baby. We're going to go play some Fallout New Vegas, you absolute legends. Let's get some music going. Blammo. We're going to go play day 9 of Fallout New Vegas, I think. We're in a flipping really difficult spot right now in that game. Yeah. I mean, that would be my advice as well. Yeah, right there what Ferret just put in chat. I mean, if you're just doing some casual gaming and stuff, and I think it's come far enough along that you'll be able to get it done. But if you're actually looking to do moderate to decently high-level gaming, you shouldn't be looking to use a Mac, I don't think. Good news segment. Appreciate it, guys. We're going to go play Fallout New Vegas now. So I hope that your Tuesday is going fantastic, man. I appreciate you guys. We will not be live tomorrow, okay? So no stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day off. I'll be working on content and everything. So, but I'll be around if you need me. So you guys know how to get a hold of me, man. Hit me up on Discord or whatever. But we'll be back on Thursday. So for anybody that might be checking out this content today live or maybe after the fact when it's a VOD and a highlight on the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel, if you're not familiar with us, we go live 6 days a week right now. Every day but Wednesday, we start off at 6 a.m. CST. That's 4 p.m. Pacific or 7 a.m. Eastern for North America. Convert that to your time zone if you're anywhere else. And we always start off with video gaming news for all of our streams. Dive into what's going on in the industry, stay current, and then we move on and play video games for the rest of the day like we're about to do right now with going and playing some Fallout New Vegas for day 9 here. If you're enjoying this content, go check out all the other stuff we have. It's on YouTube and the Twitch channel. We got clips and highlights, wild, funny, crazy stuff that happens all the time. And if you're enjoying any of this, man, come hang out with us when we are live. We always have a great time. We got an amazing community of people that are here all the time, being a part of what we do. We're always looking for more cool people to be a part of it. So other than that, man, happy Tuesday. Stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will catch everybody tomorrow. Not tomorrow. We will catch everybody on Thursday for August 17th edition of Video Gaming News. All right?